welcome to this explainer. Look, let's just jump right into this. Today, we're exploring a seriously counterintuitive secret from the world of professional turf management. And it's all about how you protect your lawn during the absolute peak of summer heat. If you've ever stared out at your yard in July or August, noticed the grass looking a bit tired, and wondered why your lawn care company suddenly just stopped treating it, you are definitely not alone. It feels backward, right? Our instinct is to feed it or fix it. But today, we're going to look at the fascinating biology behind why, sometimes, the absolute best thing you can do for your lawn is just completely leave it alone. So you might be wondering, isn't lawn care supposed to happen year-round? It's a totally fair question, and frankly, a huge source of panic for homeowners. You see your pros skipping a treatment when it's 90 degrees out, your grass looks stressed, and it feels like neglect. But as we're about to see, that pause is highly intentional. The goal is always a healthier lawn. And when extreme heat and high humidity roll in, applying the wrong products doesn't just waste your hard-earned money, it actually does profound harm to the plant itself. Section 1, Summer is Survival Mode. Summer Lawn Stress. Think about what your grass goes through during those brutal humid stretches. Whether you've got a cool season grass like tall fescue or a tough warm season grass like Bermuda, the plant actually completely shifts its biological priorities. It literally stops trying to grow and redirects every ounce of its energy just towards staying alive. The dangers really start stacking up: rapid moisture loss, severe heat stress, stunted root growth, spiking disease pressure, and a massive thirst for water. The grass is quite literally in a physiological fight for its life. Because your lawn is already maxed out just trying to survive the heat, we have to be incredibly careful. Adding even a tiny bit of unnecessary stress during this fragile window can absolutely push a struggling lawn over the edge. In professional lawn care, there's this core understanding that sometimes the safest and most scientifically sound treatment is knowing when to do nothing at all. Moving on to Section 2, the danger of summer fertilizer, the hidden dangers. There is a huge disconnect here between what we think we're doing and what we're actually doing. It makes logical sense, right? The lawn looks weak, so you apply fertilizer to strengthen it. But biologically, fertilizer's main job is to force new growth. If you force a heat-exhausted plant to push out new green blades, you're making it spend energy it simply doesn't have. It drastically stresses the root system, increases dehydration, and leaves the whole lawn wide open to disease. For grasses like tall fescue, summer is all about preservation, not pushing growth. And if you do try to force that growth, you're going to run headfirst into a very real physical consequence: fertilizer burn. You see, nitrogen fertilizers actually contain salts. When temperatures soar, those salts act like a giant sponge, literally sucking the precious remaining moisture right out of your grass. The result? You're going to see massive brown streaks and burned leaf blades that can take weeks of careful nursing to fix. Even the fancy slow-release fertilizers are meant for when grass is actively growing. Summer fertilizing doesn't feed your lawn, it burns it. Section 3. Holding off on herbicides. Holding off in summer. Okay, pay close attention to this number right here, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the absolute threshold where everything changes. The second the thermometer pushes past 85, your standard weed killers suddenly transform from helpful tools into massive risks for your turf. Let's break down why that 85-degree mark is so dangerous. Herbicides work fundamentally by disrupting normal plant growth. Your grass has to process those chemicals too, causing temporary stress. But above 85 degrees, that temporary stress turns into major damage. You get severe leaf burn, widespread discoloration, a huge spike in drought stress, and way slower recovery times. This is especially true for cool season grasses. Honestly, if you apply herbicides right now, the cure is way worse than the disease. Which brings us to this guiding philosophy: protect the lawn first, eliminate the weeds second. Yeah, nobody loves looking at a patch of crabgrass in August, but you have to understand it's an intentional trade-off. A few weeds are far less damaging than a lawn chemically scorched by poorly timed herbicide. We just let the weeds hang out as a temporary compromise until the weather cools down and we can safely treat them again. Section 4, Smart Summer Lawn Care. Actionable steps. Now, we can't control Mother Nature, but you have enormous power to help your lawn survive. Here are 3 actionable steps you should take right now. Step 1, water deeply. We're aiming for about 1 inch of water a week, including rain. Step 2, and this is absolutely critical, raise your mowing height. Taller grass physically shades the soil, cutting down on evaporation and encouraging deeper roots. And step 3, just avoid extra stress. Keep the foot traffic off the dry grass so you aren't tearing it up, and keep your mower blades razor sharp for a clean cut. So how do we optimize that watering? Check out these best practices. You want to water deeply, just 2 to 3 times a week, rather than giving the lawn a light sprinkle every single day. Light, daily watering just trains your grass to have lazy, shallow roots. Deep watering forces those roots to stretch way down into the soil to find moisture. And timing is everything. The absolute best time is early morning, between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. The soil soaks it up before the midday sun bakes it away, but the grass blades still dry off, which prevents nasty fungal diseases. Section 5. The power of patience, strategic lawn rest. This timeline perfectly maps out the payoff of just practicing a little restraint. Look at point 1 in midsummer. By holding off and giving the lawn a strategic rest, you completely avoid chemical burn. Then point 2 in late summer. The heat finally breaks and the grass exits survival mode. Which leads us to point 3 in early fall. Boom, your lawn is rested, healthy, and ready to actively grow again. That is the exact moment when fertilizer works like magic. Just delaying treatments by a few weeks literally saves you from months of ugly damage. Ultimately, our goal is keeping your yard healthy for years to come, not just blindly checking boxes on a calendar. Professional turf management is all about reading the biology of the grass. Minimizing stress during peak heat guarantees an incredibly strong, vibrant recovery the second that cooler autumn weather returns. It definitely requires some patience, but the long-term results are totally undeniable. Which leaves us with this final thought. Healthy lawns don't happen by chance, they happen by choice. Informed, deliberate choices. When the heat spikes next summer and your grass is looking a little tired, will you be patient and let nature take its course? Or will you roll the dice and try to force it? Knowing exactly when to step back is the ultimate secret to protecting your summer turf. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and here's to making the smartest choices for your lawn.